Alright, Kimbo here. First thing I want to do is bring to everybody's attention the fact that UFC has earned Pro Sports League of the Year nomination with along with NBA, NHL, MLS, and NFL, which is you know just to be ranked among those guys nominated along with them to be recognized as a sport like that now is definitely says a lot for the growth of the sport. And so things might be a little bit better than some of us really think that they are. So, that gives us the MMA fans hope. So, anyways, the main thing I want to make this video is about is huge, huge, huge. The biggest news in MMA probably ever. Zuffa has bought Strikeforce. Now, what does this mean for the sport? Okay, that's what everybody's videos are based around. It's what everybody wants to talk about. What does this do for the sport? Well, it changes things up quite a bit, and it throws all kinds of crazy stuff up for conversation. Uh, the Fertittas have already announced that Scott Coker's still going to run the corporation. Run the promotion. I shouldn't call it a corporation. Zuffa's the corporation. UFC and Strikeforce are going to remain separate promotions. Now, whether or not that is just for them to fulfill their TV contracts and for their fighters to for them to get fulfill these crazy contracts that Strikeforce has already put out, these open contracts and things. Probably still have to be fulfilled, and so in that aspect, the easiest thing for them to do for a while is just to run the two promotions as separate promotions. But it doesn't mean that they can't start putting on some of these super fights we've been wanting to see before then, because they own both promotions, so they can just they can do a co-promoted show. It's all going to the same place. So the UFC versus Strikeforce thing can go down now. They can make whole cards out of it, and the only person that's making any money off of it is them. So for them to do that now makes sense to them as well as us. The fighters and the managers all have mixed feelings, of course, especially you guys, Dan Henderson, just coming from the UFC and having fallouts with him. Fedor is now, passed up a hell of a lot of money. They say it was the biggest contract anybody's been offered in MMA, and turned it down, and now is under contract to these guys for a couple of fights, whether he likes it or not. The amount of stuff now, I would think that guys that have an open contract where they can go fight and dream and all this, they're still going to be allowed to do that. Their contract will stay the same until it's up. So I don't know how long Overeem's open contract is, but I know it's long enough to finish this tournament, and now we can be guaranteed the tournament will probably be finished, I can kind of see why there was a delay put on this all makes a little more sense now. It wasn't just Josh Barnett, why the tournament was delayed. It's probably because of this, and now UFC's got to figure out exactly what they're going to do. Well, Zuffa, I'm sorry, has got to figure out exactly what they're going to do with the tournament. But we can be guaranteed that tournament will play out now. And we can also be guaranteed that this will motivate, if Fedor doesn't want to fight somebody in Strikeforce soon, they'll put together a fight for him. That's going to happen. It's going to make big money, big money. this GSP and Jake Shields fight. I mean, it's 40 or 60,000 some people they sold out the tickets. The biggest arena they've ever sold out for MMA. I don't know the exact numbers, because I'm not a big exact number guy when it comes to this stuff. But you know, when they start putting together stuff like Fedor and Brock, Alistair and Brock, Cain Velasquez versus Alistair, Cain Velasquez versus Fedor, the list goes on. There's so many options in the heavyweight division, the guys that they have. I would like to see every guy in the heavyweight tournament almost, at least, have 4 or 5 of them guys I'd like to see fight the top 4 or 5 heavyweights in the UFC. So, if you put that together, you put together the number of fights that creates, I mean, you're looking at like 25 fights in one weight class that you could throw together. I mean, there's probably 20 heavyweight fights you could sit and throw together that right now out of the 2 divisions. That would be just awesome to see. Same in some of the other weight classes. Even if we had to do some catch weights, Gilbert Melendez versus BJ Penn at 155. Gilbert Melendez versus John Fitch at a catch weight. Jason Miller versus the who's who of guys in the UFC. I'd like to see a lot of these guys take on some guys in the UFC. See Dan Henderson come back and do like a title versus. He's a light heavyweight champion. He just dominated Feijiao, which was, I didn't expect that. I didn't pick Henderson in that fight, and he made it look easy. I didn't expect that. The old man is still a badass, and we really didn't get to see him fight the top guys, at light heavyweight in the UFC. Dan could fight at 205 or 185 probably if he wanted to. I don't know. I think that overall it won't be a bad thing at all, because I could care less if Diaz and Miller and Overeem are running over Japan and fighting all the time. Everybody likes to see that. Everybody likes to see Overeem fight K1. When his contract's up, maybe he won't stick with Strikeforce. He won't resign with Zuffa, because maybe the K1 will mean more to him, to where he'll just fight the K1 in the dream, which would suck, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit. So I'm really not sure what to make of the whole thing. But overall, I don't think it's bad. Overall, I think it's good, and I think it's great for us American fans over here who have been wanting to see all of these matchups for so long. As far as this tournament goes, they're going to make the final round probably pay-per-view, and not really sure exactly what they're doing with the rest of it. There's a date set for July or something like that for the next quarterfinal. So, but anyways, they also said they're going to keep the same announce teams, which, my God, hopefully they fucking get rid of Gus Johnson. I like to listen to Jason Miller. I don't even mind Mauro Ranallo so much these days, even though, man, he says stuff that nobody else even says. It's just the goofiest stuff I've heard in my life. But he at least has some form of fight knowledge and has been around the fight game, rather than a guy like Gus Johnson, who seems completely clueless. Mauro I can tolerate. I like Miller. Frank Shamrock is good, and Um, you know, Pat Miletich is good to listen to. If you got them two guys commentating, two seasoned guys like that, you can't go wrong. So they don't have the worst broadcast team next to besides Gus and Morrow. But there's one big difference the fans are going to notice right away, and Lorenzo Fertitta said that they will definitely now compete under the rules of unified martial arts, which does allow elbow strikes. Does allow elbow strikes on the ground. So that's something before that wasn't allowed in Strikeforce was elbow strikes from the ground, and you will now see that. So there's a whole lot of different stuff. There's all different types of variables. The thing is, are guys like Diaz, are guys like Overeem, are them guys going to get what they want when it comes to re-signing on a contract? Are they going to tell Zuffa to fuck off and just go fight Japan or something? That would not be good for the sport. But I see them being able to make enough money off these guys to give them what they want and make this shit happen. So everybody tell me what they think. This has been The Last Word with Kimbo White.